You ever see Ocean's 13? I love the Ocean's movies. Ocean's 11 is my favorite movie ever. 12 is really good. It's the worst of the three, but that's like saying, what is that like saying? I don't know. I'll think of a better metaphor for that. I still really enjoy Ocean's 12. But in Ocean's 13, there's a scene where they're getting the dice that they've manipulated coming into rotation so that they can use the lighters that are actually kind of magnets so they can pull and, rig craps essentially and run what they call a reverse big store. And there's a scene where there are a variety of pit bosses and they are saying the phrase, new dice coming in, new dice coming in. So that's what Oregon basketball's got. New dice coming in. And I got to tell you, these dice, or this die, however you would like to extend that analogy that I came up with, has got a top shelf name. Supreme Cook has come over from Georgetown. Matt Prame first reported and wrote about how Oregon had him on a visit recently, and he has committed to Dana Altman and the Ducks. He's going into his 5th year of college basketball. I don't hate that at all, because with N'Faly Dante's waiver getting denied and then the appeal getting denied, his career's over, and Oregon needed a big. They needed a big body. I did not think they could go into this year with a big man rotation of Nate Biddle, KJ Evans, Ibrahima Traore, a true freshman that hasn't played a minute of college basketball yet, obviously, and maybe run Brandon Angel as a 4 and slide Evans to the... I just don't think that's enough. I don't think you could survive injuries. I don't think it gives you the requisite amount of size. That is why they've gone out and added Supreme Cook. That's just... Shout out to his parents, man. Or if it's a nickname, I don't care. That's an awesome name. Absolutely awesome name. So, 6'9", not quite as big as Dante. Few guys are, but he looks a lot taller. Like when you watch him play, he was at Georgetown this past year. He spent the previous 3 at Fairfield before he went to Georgetown. But this past year, 10.5 points a game, 8 boards, and almost 4 offensive rebounds per game, which was first in the Big East. Pretty impressive stat line there. And this is a guy that I think makes a lot of sense. And he's been a consistent scorer throughout his career. He's been a 10-plus point a game scorer and averaged at least 8 rebounds in 3 straight seasons. Now, 2 of those were in a lower level conference, but doing it at Georgetown this past year, Big East has produced the last 2 national champions, and they've both been UConn, of course. This is a guy who is capable. I think the floor on what he can bring to the table is clearly pretty high because he's played 4 seasons of college basketball, and low and mid-major guys, they play against some absolute ballers down there. Here's maybe my favorite part about him so far. I'm going to knock on wood as ferociously as you have ever heard or seen anyone do after I say this, and you will understand why. In all 4 seasons of college basketball left, he should have just 1 year of eligibility remaining, he has played 27 or more games. Okay. So, Oregon's injury luck with bigs just hasn't been great. But that's another reason why I'm encouraged by this move. Here's a question that I do have about Supreme Cook coming to the Ducks. Is he going to provide a stronger defensive presence than he has in the past? Because for the last several years, a long time, when healthy, N'Faly Dante has been, N'Faly Dante, I think is how you're supposed to pronounce it, Dante has been a one-man defense at times. He has been an enforcer. He is a presence. He blocks shots, rebounds incredibly well. Now, Cook rebounds well. Okay, 8 rebounds a game last year at Georgetown. That's a really, really good number. He's not quite as big as Dante. He has never in his career averaged a full block a game. And that makes me wonder what role he's going to play on this Oregon team. Because if he's a guy that has played so much and produced at a level where he expects to start, I don't know if he's starting. I think he could be the first big off the bench. I think there is a world in which Nate Biddle is the starter just because Biddle has got more size and maybe a little bit more overall skill, but Nate Biddle has had injury issues. And so do they bring Biddle off the bench and kind of ease him back and, get him into game shape as the season goes along? Now, certainly that's what the offseason is for, is to get him in the best shape they can, because that's why he didn't come back at the end. He got sick, lost a bunch of weight, and then decided, I can't come back and play because I've just lost too much weight. I'm too thin. I'm not going to be in game shape, and it wouldn't be good for me or anybody. So what I wonder is how much Supreme Cook can bring in the defensive end. Now, I don't know what kind of coaching he was getting at Georgetown. They have been a bad program for a long time, which is crazy. Like actually crazy. If you look at the history of college basketball, Georgetown being bad is pretty wild. It's like Duke being bad. There was a 2-year stretch or so where both Duke and North Carolina were struggling to make the tournament or missing the tournament, and it was weird. It was odd. Well, Georgetown's been that way for a while. They just can't hire the right coach over there. So maybe he just needs more defensive-oriented coaching. And certainly Dana Altman is a master of having big men that defend and block shots. This has been a hallmark of Dana Altman teams. There is always a big-time shot blocker in the middle. He has not been that to this point in his career. He's a little bit smaller. Dante is not some big jumper. He can jump. But when I think big jumper, I think Jordan Bell, Kenny Wooten, who were 6'9" or 6'8". I think Wooten was listed at 6'8", but they were elite shot blockers. Why? Because their timing and their jumping was exquisite and explosive. So I just thought of that old This Is Sports Center commercial. It's Scott Van Pelt and Steve Smith. Hey, Steve, would you describe your speed as explosive or incendiary? What? And then Scott's like, hold on. Put something down. And then Steve's right at his cubicle. That explains it. Incendiary. All sorts of tangents today. Anyway, so that's what I wonder about with Cook, is whether he comes in and starts. I have a hard time believing KJ Evans is not a starter, and that Brandon Angel is also not a starter. The transfer from Stanford, and Shellstad's going to start, and Bamba's going to start. We don't know who the starting center is. It could be Biddle. It could also be Supreme Cook. Production is there. Experience is there. Just don't know about the shot blocking. Doesn't mean he's not a good defender, by the way. Just means he's not a high-volume shot blocker. But maybe that's not what he was asked to do guarding certain players in the Big East. Maybe that's not what he was asked to do in their defensive scheme with regards to their rotations. Maybe their coaches said, no, we don't want you leaping in the air because it creates an opening. We want you to focus on boxing out your guy. I don't know. There are a lot of different factors that could be in play there. But that's the latest addition for Oregon on the basketball side. Just when you think they're done, they are not. They are not. And look, I'm inclined to think that they're done. But the last time I thought Oregon was done adding players, they've added 3 more. So who knows? Who actually knows? But Supreme Cook, he's going to be an Oregon Duck this year and figures one way or another to play a significant role. This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board, folks. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals that you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't even visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. There's a reason 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. You should too. LinkedIn.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.